What's up, guys? I'm Tinashe Moyo, and welcome to another episode of Stride. On this channel, my goal is to inspire people to take the first step towards their goals in life using my personal experiences, and this is the final chapter of the franchise series. So buckle up, sit back, and enjoy. All right, ladies, gentlemen, it is now time for the victory lap. I, gu- I guess Nipsey Hussle was just meant to be ripped by me because, he's got an album called Victory Lap. So just some stupid stuff I needed to say. But I hope you guys have been following, from part one. If you haven't, well, I suggest you take it from the top for you to really understand where this story is going. But anyways, for those who've been following, well, hats off to you. From in the previous episode, I ended at a point where I had fell out of love with music, and that was 2014. So picking up from that point, yes, I fell out of love. I did not understand how that even happened because it was like music was something that I considered, you know, my pride and joy at that time, especially considering the fact that I was actually growing. So as I was focusing on my design career, this is now 2014 into like 2015, Warren would always bug me for beats. But because I wasn't in the zone, I could not give him anything. But at the same time, he was still making music and he needed to promote like his singles. So he would need CD covers. So he would ask me to design covers, and I would actually make them with so much pride because I was focusing on design at that point in time. So uh, I think sometimes he would pay me, it wasn't any significant amounts of money, but just like a token of appreciation. And I did appreciate all of that because that was actually some money that I needed. So, I think throughout that period from 2015 to 20, should I say maybe 2018, I never did anything music wise. I never wrote, I never produced, I never even bothered to sing. Of course, I would listen to music, right? This is just the norm. But anything else that had to do with creation, I couldn't do it. I didn't, I just didn't have it in me. So during that period, I would always think of the EP project that I wanted to do, the one that would consist of the songs Ain't That a Shame? I think there was, I think another song called, okay, maybe I'm jumping the gun here. All right, still, I would always think of the EP project. And by virtue of that, I think I always had a feeling that music was just going to come back to me in some shape or form. And so I think it should be in 20, sometime in 2018, I started experiencing something weird, you know. This one time, you know, like I was actually sleeping. So I just heard like a Chris Brown song. And then when I woke up, I was actually questioning, like, did I not turn off my machine when I was sleeping? I mean, I don't think I was playing any music when I slept. So I didn't really understand that. And then I was just like, all right, let me go look for the song, the Chris Brown song that I was hearing on my playlist. But then I couldn't find it. And then I was just like, well, probably hallucinating or something. And then I think a few weeks after, uh, I heard some music again. Then I was just like, yo, who decides to party, you know, in the middle of the night? Like, of course, I know there's people who like the nightlife and everything, but it's like it should be midweek, like on a Tuesday. I'm pretty sure it wasn't a weekend. So it's like midweek. Let's say it's a Tuesday, right? And then I'm like, who wants to party Tuesday night? Of course, maybe if you don't have a job, if you don't have to wake up for a job the next day, of course, I'm sure you can do that unless you're like a superhero, of course, Batman or something. Like the Batman who doesn't want to save people. Okay, I think I'm getting out of context here. So, yeah, anyways, I heard that music. Then I was just like, man, what's really going on? I wake up the next day, I go to my playlist, I couldn't find the song that I heard. Like, so what's really going on? And then I was just like, oh, maybe it's actually happening in my mind as I'm sleeping. So a few days later, I heard I I had that same experience again, and I'm hearing a song, and I immediately woke up during the night and I recorded a voice note. Then I woke up, I think around 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. Then I played back the voice note. Then I was just like, oh, so I'm actually getting uh music, in my sleep. Like that's crazy, you know? So I think now this was 2019. Then I would actually, go to Paddington and I would play like the voice notes to him, like, yo, this is what I was getting during the night. Like, I can't really understand what it is, but I want you to listen to this. So Paddington would always have a field day with those things, right? Because the way those voice notes would sound, I mean, just imagine your I would be mumbling, sort of like mumbling, right? Because your vocals are resting during the night and then you just start singing out of nowhere. So it was really crazy and funny. But then at the same time, I was just like, oh, I think I've got something really, really special here. Like, oh, okay. Sorry, I've got a light. I'm sure if you can see the video quality is different here. So I've got a light. I just I just hung it close to the ceiling in an awkward way. So whew, making some funny movements. But anyways, where was I? Yes, the voice notes. So yeah, they would sound funny, but then I was just like, yeah, I think I've got something really, really special. I need to pray about it. And I need to, like, you know, I need to nurture like that gift because this is like a gift from God. So I really need to work on that. So now this was 2019 and we are like pushing our our company with Paddington Aptitude Legends. So we like to do animation projects a lot. Like that stuff really inspires us. So we just decided to start working on a couple of projects just so we could we could really boost our creativity. We could just get ideas out there. So in my mind, I was just like, okay, I think we can work on custom soundtracks for our projects. And that was the spark that got me back into music. If you remember what I said in the previous episode, I didn't know why I was making music those previous years, right? But now the spark came from the idea that I now had a why. My reason for making music was Aptitude Legends. We've got animations, we've got so many different projects. You'll do, commercials, you'll do ads, all of those things. They need music, right? And I remember my dad told me something really, really special. And he was just like, for things to work out really well, it has to be 60% sound, 40% video. So that really stuck with me. And then I was just like, okay, I think I'm really onto something here. So we were working on a project. I think it was a David and Goliath short animation. So I was just like, oh, I actually want to make a soundtrack for that. And then Paddington was just like, oh, we need a voiceover for that. So he wanted me to do the voiceover, right? But at that time, I had no experience whatsoever when it came to doing voice notes. So I didn't really know how I was going to execute that. But still, I was excited that, okay, now I've got a reason to make music. So I actually made, I think I made this beat. Now, we never really did anything with that project, but just the idea that I was able to, pinpoint a beat for a certain project, that was something that was really amazing. So now I think my mind was actually opening up, especially from the idea that I was getting songs in my dreams. I remember this one time when I got home from work and I just started playing my old beats. I think the ones that I had created back in 2013, that time when I was beginning to make my original music. So I think from the MIDI keyboard that Warren had given me, I had created a beat that had some really cool piano chords. So I played that, and to my surprise, I actually started singing a melody for the verse.
I see you walking in the streets every day, and baby, I can tell that you're looking for no game. So give me your number so that I can call you later.
Well, interestingly, or funny enough, that that song is actually inspired by someone who's actually real. So I had the melody for the verse, and then I wrote a couple of lyrics for the verse. And I think the next day I worked on the chorus, and the chorus was just amazing.
You've been crying in your heart, oh babe. I will try to mend your heart till it gets better.
Up to now, it's a song that Paddington still plays. Like sometimes he just goes like, yo, listen to this. So he, enjoys that song. And it's actually a song that I look forward to like releasing in the near future. So after it gets better, I think there was another song, or it was actually a beat. Most of these beats were still skeletons. I think some of the beats had pretty much a drum pattern and maybe just one instrument, pretty much, two instruments, including the drum patterns. it's either there's a piano or there's strings, all of those things. So I had to build all of those up. So I just started playing them, and then I actually heard that these beats were actually dope. So I was just like, okay, I really need to build these beats up. So when I started playing another beat, I immediately had a melody for a chorus. And the words that I started singing were Tell Me Why. And I made a concept for a song called Tell Me Why. I just recorded a demo for the chorus at that time on my phone.
Tell me why, tell me why, na 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 na. Tell me why, tell me why, na 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 na.
And then I think later on, should be sometime last year or the year before, I ended up writing a verse to it, just a rough draft, just to see how the song could actually play out. So I was really enjoying the process. And then I came across another beat that was inspired by DJ Mustard. And I think that was pretty much the same time. No, I think DJ Mustard was hot probably during the 2013, 2014 era. That's when the dude was hot. So I think at that time I just made a beat that was in line with, like his cool bass lines and everything. So I just made a beat like that and I put it aside. When I started playing it, immediately I had a melody for the chorus. And the words that I immediately started singing were always you can overcome.
Always, always, you can overcome. Always, always, you can overcome.
That was interesting. And then I actually built it up and and I was actually like, okay, maybe this could actually work as the title for the EP project. So now I had three songs that I had actually gathered. I had Ain't That a Shame, I had Tell Me Why, and I had Overcomer. Well, okay, I'll say four songs, including the even stronger one that I played for you in the previous episode. So I was still trying to like figure things out because I'm like, okay, now I can get melodies for, you know, for a song, something that I used to struggle with. During that process, we were organizing like the animation projects that we wanted to do. So during that time, um, I was, I think I used to binge watch Pastor Michael Todd from Transformation Church, based in the United States. So I was watching a series called Church Sucks, and he was just preaching about us being, like an individual, being the light of the world. So I was just like, oh, the title itself is super interesting. I think I'll make something out of that. And so I then worked on a song called Light of the World. Now, the interesting thing about Light of the World is that the bass line for that song actually came from from the beat Tell Me Why. Because for Tell Me Why, I had been struggling with the bass line, particularly for the chorus. And, excuse me, I came up with a melody, which I really thought was cool. And when I played it with all the other instruments, it just wasn't coming out right. So I was just like, well, I'll probably see what I can do with this. So I created another project that had nothing, no instruments. And then I just copied that melody into that new project. And then when I played it alone, I was like, yo, this is something really, really different. This is banging. This is amazing.
Hey.
And then I started building it up, adding instruments, drum patterns. So I think I added like 4 different instruments, and then the file just corrupted. And I was like, damn, that sucks. So I had actually told Paddington, like, yo, this is actually a soundtrack for another project that we were gonna do. Because at that time we had not initially agreed on anything. So I had to redo the bit again because thankfully the bass line was still on the Tell Me Why beat, right? Project, whatever, file, right? So I copied it again and then I started building it up and it started just coming naturally. Like that was amazing. I had to include a drum pattern, something that was cool. And I just started writing to it. Like the lyrics were just coming naturally, the melodies were coming naturally. So the opening lyrics for the song, I wanted to make it a short song, at least like 1 minute, just so I could train myself to create music, to write music, to sing, produce, arrange, all of those things. That was my goal. So the opening line was it actually came from my really good friend called Simbarashi Mzavazi. He's an amazing writer and just a good person in general. So he had actually brought that line. I think it was together with a chorus he had written a couple of years back, if it's not 2011 or 2012. So I remembered that chorus fully, but I was just like, for Light of the World, I think I need that line only. So I had to text him, like, yo, do you still remember this chorus? Like, yes. I came from a point where I would rip, right? I ripped Nipsey Hussle. This time around, I didn't want to do any of that. I just wanted to do things by the book. So I had to get hold of Simba and I politely asked for the line to include the line on that song, and he automatically gets songwriting credits for it. And then Simba was really, really cool with it. So I recorded the demo for Light of the World.
In the darkest days and through the stormy nights, Lord, you're my light. Oh.
I sent the demo to him and Simba was just impressed. He really loved it. And then I then gave the song to Paddington to have a listen. And immediately after he listened to that, he was just like, we need to create an animation project for that. And we started, ideas were just flying out. We were just putting a draft storyboard together based on that. So this is a project that is yet to be released, right? But these things are all coming from, the whole aspect of creating, soundtracks just just for the sake of it. So that was a really, a really interesting time for me. And at the same time, the dream songs were like happening like crazy. So now I had I had my phone, like my voice notes library. My voice notes library was just blowing up with all of those voice notes that I would record, um, you know, during the night. But I'm really thankful to God that He bestowed this unique gift upon me. Now, because of the fact that I knew my why, I started to expand like my mind, my horizon, right? So I came across Charlie Puth. Well, Charlie Puth, I think, started singing a couple of years back, but I never really paid much attention to him. I think if you've watched some of my previous episodes, I've mentioned that Charlie Puth is actually one of my favorite musicians. So when I came across his album called Voice Notes, the first time I listened to it, I was just like, man, I don't think I can vibe to music like this because I was usually used to um, creating music with simple chords. I wasn't a fan of these unorthodox chords. Like, if you've had music from guys like Daft Punk, they've got things that are quite distinct. Uh, I never really loved stuff like that. So I played it once and then I was just like, man, this album sucks. So I think maybe after a few weeks or rather a month, I played the album again and then I really started paying attention to the music. And then I was just like, this this is really some good music because Voice Notes was pretty much a nod to 80s R&B. And so me being a huge R&B fan, I was just like, okay, I think this is something that I can really vibe to. So I started playing the album constantly, like really listening to, you know, how the guy makes music. And then I came across his social media. I think that was Instagram. And so I followed the guy on Instagram. And, you know, my mind was blown by how that guy makes music. I mean, that guy is really, really talented. I was just like, yo, this is amazing. Like, I really need to follow this guy on a daily basis, understand his process, understand how he really uh, gets inspiration, how he really comes up. Wait, is that proper English? Yeah, whatever, man. How he how he gets his ideas. So I then started listening to his debut album called Nine Track Mind. The album that included the songs One Call Away, um, was this Fast and Furious soundtrack, See You Again, and yeah, even the song Marvin Gaye. And then I was just like, yeah, this is some really good music. So I was really drawn to his creation process. And at the same time, I think Bruno Mars, I had been a fan of Bruno Mars for quite some time, but I never really paid attention to how he made his music. But Bruno Mars is also one talented musician. So it was just Bruno Mars. Then there's also this guy called John Bellion. I think this guy is really underrated, I think, when it comes to music in the United States, but he's an amazing, amazing producer, songwriter. I think it was the guy responsible for the song Monster by Eminem and Rihanna. So I was just like, man, this is so much fun. Like, I enjoy watching behind the scenes footage of how people make their music. So I guess it was just a thing where I'll say I was drawn by people's creation process. Like I'm really drawn by creators. Don't get me wrong. There's just people who do more of the singing and a bit of the writing, like to each their own. But I'm more drawn to people who are always hands on when it comes to music. That's why I've always been a fan of, Michael Jackson. Like Michael would command this, Michael would command that, and he would get uh, so much good stuff. So I was just like, okay, this is the stuff that I really enjoy. And this is like the process that I really, really want to follow. So I think Charlie Puth released his third album called Charlie. And this was an album, I think he started working on it during the pandemic in 2020. And I think that actually made me love his music more because he actually documented, I think, the whole creation process on on TikTok. So I was just like, man, I really wanna like you create your own sounds sometimes, like just using either your mouth or you're just clapping, recording with the microphone. Then I was just like, man, I really, really, love this stuff. So it really opened me up. Um, and I was just like, yes, I'm really loving music at this point. Now, one of the drawbacks that I've always had when it comes to music is a thing that's called mixing and mastering. Ooh, that has been my worst nightmare because I mean, I can make I can make a beat, I can arrange a beat, but then there's things like working on the levels, instrument levels, making sure this instrument is on the right level, just so when you can sing, you can actually hear yourself properly. Yeah, and that has always been a nightmare for me. I think there was one time where I'd actually asked Warren to help me understand the whole sound engineering thing. But I think I failed to I failed to link up with him so that we could go over that process. But what I ended up doing, okay, before that, yes, I failed to you know, see Warren age. So but during that period, right, as I was growing, as my mind was expanding musically, um, I came across a Kit Kat commercial on Instagram. It's unfortunate that I couldn't find that commercial, right? So it was a simple commercial. So it had someone just dropping Kit Kat bars on a fridge tray. As that person was dropping the Kit Kat bars on the tray, I heard a sound, right? And to me, I actually thought like there was a soundtrack that whole time as I was listening to, as I was listening and watching the, you know, the commercial. But there was no music, there was no nothing. I was hearing stuff in my mind. So the sound that came out when that person dropped the Kit Kat bars, in my mind, I had chords. I just had chords in my mind. And I actually went to my laptop and I opened my digital audio workstation. And this is where I created these chords from the sound that I heard. It's unfortunate that I don't have the video, which could you know, which you could actually listen to and then compare to the sound that I was making. So from that, I actually came up with a melody, and through that melody, the chorus melody, I was just hearing the words "do it again, do it again, do it again," and then I was just like, okay, I guess I now have a song called "Do It Again."
Just do it again, do it again. I'm ready for another run. I've been waiting for far too long.
So I just made the beat actually, and well, I didn't finish it at that time because I wanted to at least give it more time for the ideas to expand and everything. So I was just like, okay, I think now I'm really, really going insane when it comes to the whole music thing. So I think towards the end of 2022, I bought myself a MIDI keyboard. Now, this was to say, okay, I'm really getting back into the music thing, right? So I bought the MIDI. As I was making my way back home, I bumped into this guy, and he was mesmerized with the keyboard. And so he was just like, yo, do you play the keyboard? And then I was just like, no, I actually want to try. Then he was just like, okay, that's interesting. So I think after a few weeks, that guy ended up getting his own keyboard. Now, this wasn't a MIDI keyboard. It was actually, okay, I can't say an actual keyboard, but just a keyboard. Those ones you play in church, electric keyboards, rather, okay? So he was just like, when you bought yours, that actually, gave me hope, like to at least get mine. Then I was just like, okay, I didn't think I would inspire someone just by buying my own keyboard just to make beats. But then the interesting thing was that he actually started learning, right? Someone from his church actually taught him how to play the keyboard. So he actually got advanced, and every time we would meet in the hood, he would actually be like, "Oh, so are you now playing?" Then I'd just be like, "Nope, nothing." Then he was just like, "Yo, why don't you come over to my place, take my number, then I can teach you if you still don't know how to play. It's not much of a problem. We just gotta help each other." And I was just like, all right, cool. Though I didn't contact him, I was just like, nah, I'm just gonna learn on my own. So yeah, that was quite a stupid thing to do and say. So I think as I was playing around with the keyboard, because sometimes when you're just making music, if you just press the keys, I realized that in the previous episode, I was saying buttons instead of keys. So now I'm saying keys, okay? When you're pressing keys on the keyboard, sometimes you just come up with, different melodies. So I came up with a cool melody for a beat, or rather a song called Show Me How.
The way you sent me down this road has made me scared. I need your guidance, Lord. You gotta show me how to run the show. Oh, you gotta show me how to run the show.
So the interesting thing is that, the title for the song actually came from a conversation that I had with Warren, So he just texted and said, "Show me how." Then I was just like, "Ooh, that's a dope title for a song." Then it was just like, yeah. So the concept for that song actually came from the idea that Warren had decided to go to the UK. So he was leaving Zim. And then I was just like, oh, all this time, I was just like, when I get back into music, I'm going to go to Warren at the studio. And then we're actually going to, work together and create good music together, I'm going to learn as much as I can when I'm with Warren because he's just extremely talented. So I had this sunken feeling like, damn, okay, so what am I going to do? Which which were the words that inspired the chorus? Because it was pretty much um, the way you've sent me down this road has made me scared, but I need guidance, Lord. You've got to show me how to run the show. Now, the show that I was talking about was the whole music scene, because if Warren isn't there, I felt like I was stuck. So I needed God to really show me and, you know, help me out. Like, how am I going to make music? How am I going to mix? How am I going to record a song if Warren is not around? So it then got to a point where, um, you know, artificial intelligence really came into play. So I was just like, okay, I think I just got to a point where I was just like, I think I started knowing Chat GPT. So it's like you just do the basics, like, oh, give me a concept for this, give me a concept for that. But the more you use it, you start getting into uh, the depth of things. You start really understanding how to work with this artificial intelligence thing. It's like sometimes people just want AI to do everything for them, but you can actually be conversational with AI in terms of the work that you do. So in my mind, I was just like, can I mix music using AI? And I was just like, okay, let me let me give it a try. So I just went on to Meta AI on my WhatsApp, and then I was just like, okay, I've got this beat, right? Um, I've got these instruments. Please help me uh, adjust the levels for these instruments. Help me with the effects for the instruments, right? So at first it was a little bit difficult, like understanding the whole process. But the more I did it, I was just like, oh, this is great use for AI. Because I mean, I was just like, well, there really isn't anyone I can go to that can help me like with the whole mixing and mastering thing. So maybe, and sometimes YouTube won't really give you the actual thing that you need. So I was just like, okay, if I go with AI, then well, I'm gonna get something different. So that's how I've been taking it when it comes to the whole mixing and mastering thing. I'm not yet a pro, not even an intermediate, still at a beginner's level, but it's slowly making sense because of that. And then sometimes I can just be like, okay, let me just try it on my own without using AI just to see if my mind has captured at least something decent. So that's the beauty of these things. Like there's so many ways we can play around with technology. Now, above all else, um, I'm really I'm really grateful for the gift of music, particularly the idea of getting songs in my dreams. Like, I never, ever expected that something like that would happen to me. Of course, I know I'm a crazy guy, but I didn't think my craziness would get to this level where I would get something that's solid, you know? So I was just like, man, I love this. So I've been getting so many melodies in my dreams, so many songs. I got this song called Stay. I heard the lyrics, the chorus, and I woke up and I recorded on my phone. Listen to this.
Stay with me. Girl, stay with me. Stay all night. I will never do that. I will never do that.
So that's amazing. And then I got another, well, on my machine, I just named it Fire, but I just got that melody and then I ended up building it up into something. Listen. And then, and this is just a few of the bunch that I have. Oh, I can't, have you listen to all of it because of, you know, the for the sake of time. But there's also one that's really interesting that recently came up, and it's actually for a song called "Watch Me."
I am so good. I am so good. I am so good. I am so good. Enjoy. I am so good. I am so good. I feel so good. I feel so good. I feel so good. I feel so good. Been up, enjoying. Been up, enjoying. I feel so good. I feel so good.
So this was a song that I actually decided, like, okay, I'm gonna make this as a soundtrack for an animation project. So man, this has been fun, like really, really fun. And through, creating music, through doing all of those things, man, I've been growing remarkably, remarkably. Like I've been really, really having fun. So, you know, I really want to thank God above all else for the gift of music, but I also want to thank Warren H. Like he's played a huge role in my life. Like even to this day, these songs that I make, I still get to call him or text him and be like, yo, what can I do with this? What can I do with that part? And it's really, really helpful. Like he's still teaching me because even if I dream of music, I'm not yet better than Warren, Like I just want to be better than who I was a couple of years ago. I want to be better than who I was today. I mean, who I am today. Jeez. Sorry. So yeah, I'm really, really proud of that. And, I look forward to, this whole music thing. And I really want to see where this music thing is going to go, where it's going to take me, the kind of people that I'm going to work with. I'm really looking forward to that. And that being said, we have come to the end of the franchise series. And I hope you guys really, really enjoyed this series. I hope you guys got so many lessons from this. And yeah, if you've got something that you love, be it music, designing, drawing, anything like that, just know it's a process. Take your time, develop your craft, and speak to people, technology, work with technology, and you'll be fine. So, yeah, thank you guys for tuning in I really appreciate you guys for the support. Yeah, I look forward to making some more interesting series about my experiences. So this is it. This is done. We have run the victory lap. So the moral of the story is this. If you had been following from part one, where I spoke about my time in high school, you know, God always has better plans for us. I mean, personally, I believe that if I had become the choral or choir master, I think maybe the music bug would have ended in high school, you know? And we we can't force ourselves into God's plans. I so much wanted to be a choir or choral master, but then God had a different plan. So I had to wait. Like we gotta be patient when it comes to God's plans and God's timing. Let's not question God like, why is this happening like this? Why is this taking time? Let's pray and look forward to what he has for us. Like even the Bible itself says, for I know the plans that I have for you, plans for you to prosper and not to harm you. So we have to believe in what God has set for us and focus on his promises, for he is always faithful. Like God will never forsake us. He says all of this in the Bible. Just imagine if I had taken matters into my own hands and forced my way into becoming a choral or choir master. I probably wouldn't be dreaming of songs as we speak. But then I learned, I don't know, proper English, whatever. I learned to be patient, and just go through the pain. Most of the time, we don't want to go through the pain. And that's why we end up losing track of our goals and the things that are set for us. So yeah, I think in a nutshell, that was the whole moral for the story. So guys, I really hope you learned something valuable from this series. And if you've been getting value from my content, as always, please leave your thoughts in the comments section. I'd love to know what you guys think. Leave a like. It definitely helps me create more content. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, well, what are you waiting for? Take that step and subscribe. But if you have, do send the link to your loved ones, your friends, anyone you can think of. And, let's grow together. Join me on this journey and let's have fun. So yeah, from me to you, I'm going to see you guys in the next video. Peace.